We give you just a small portion of our day and our time as we take this time to focus on you. In Jesus' name.
Shall be impossible. Your kingdom reigns unstoppable. We will shout your praise forevermore. Jesus, our God, unstoppable. Nothing shall be impossible. Your kingdom reigns unstoppable. We'll shout your praise forevermore. Jesus, our God, unstoppable. Nothing shall be impossible. Your kingdom reigns unstoppable. We'll shout your praise forevermore. Jesus, our God, unstoppable. Nothing shall be impossible. Your kingdom reigns unstoppable. We'll shout your praise forevermore. Jesus, our God, unstoppable. Unstoppable God, let your glory go on and on. The impossible things in your name they shall be done. Unstoppable God, let your glory go on and on. The impossible things in your name they shall be done. nothing like Jesus, there is nothing like your I can't get enough. I can't get enough. You're amazing. Jesus, I can't get enough. I can't walk away. I can't walk away. I have seen your face. Jesus, I can't walk away. I just want to be where you are. I just want to be in your heart. There is nothing like your there is nothing like your I just want to be where you are. I just want to be in your heart. There is nothing like your Jesus. There is nothing like your holy, 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 singing holy, holy, Jesus, I love you, Jesus, I love you, holy, I just want to be where you are. I just want to be in your heart. There's nothing like Jesus. There's nothing like you. I just want to be where you are. Where you are. I just want to be near your heart. There is nothing like Jesus. There is nothing like holy, holy. You are holy, holy. You are holy, holy. Casting all their all of heaven is bowing. You turn your face and you cry, holy, holy, singing
Thank you for bringing us all here safely today, bringing us here to worship you, to follow you. Pray that you keep us all safe in this moment. Please meet us in this moment. Please be here with us. Please help us feel your presence and make your presence known. Please be with Tim as he's going to lead us through this lesson. Please be with every word he says. And please transfer that message of the Holy Spirit to us and us worship you through our lives with that message. Amen.
All right, so we've been talking these last couple of weeks, what I've called leave your faith at the door. And what I mean by that is that sometimes we have this notion that faith is kind of like this, just close your eyes, believe it because you're supposed to, don't think about it too much type of faith. And so that's what I'm saying, leave that kind of idea at the door. And I want you to have a totally different understanding or idea of what faith is. Can anybody help me out? What's kind of like the running definition I'm giving you of what faith is? Think you got it, Noah?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. There we go. Did y'all hear that? Yeah. So that's the understanding of faith that I want you to hold on to. Having confidence that God is who he says he is, and he's going to do everything that he's promised to do. So anytime you're thinking about faith, or anyone ever like talks to you about like, oh, well, you know, you would have got that answer of prayer if you would have had more faith. Does that really match with this kind of definition and understanding of faith? So this is what I think is a better, stronger, biblical understanding of what faith really is. Having confidence in who God is, who he says he is. And so we've been talking about over these last couple of weeks of different kind of ways to think about, is it rational, reasonable, logical to believe in God? Because there's lots of people that say, you know what, God's not real. You know, there are plenty of atheists that go, you know, to believe in God is actually kind of like believing in superstition. What's the difference in believing in magic if you believe like in prayer, things like that? So there's plenty of people that disagree with it. There's plenty of people in the science community, incredibly smart, intelligent people that will be like, no, there's an explanation other than God for everything. And so over these last couple of weeks, we've been talking about if we really look at the things in this world, at science and how the universe began, the fine-tuning of it all, that I actually believe it actually points you to God rather than away from God. So we don't need to be intimidated or worried that people who are really, really smart are going to be able to like totally destroy our faith. And I think the opposite is actually true. So that's why I've highlighted there on the screen for you that confidence. And that's the whole purpose of what we're doing and why I'm doing this, is to build up your confidence in your faith in God and Christianity. So we talked about some different things. We talked about some philosophical arguments, the ontological arguments for the reason of faith. We talked about the cosmological arguments, the beginning of the universe with like Einstein's theory of relativity and redshift and things like that. Last time we talked about the fine-tuning of the universe. Big fancy word for that is the teleological argument for God, how everything is perfectly lined up exactly as it has to be in order for life to exist. And so we talked about all those different kind of ideas and concepts. So tonight, we're going to talk about a different kind of thing. We're going to kind of leave science, because we talked about those the last couple of weeks, and we're going to kind of talk about a different thing of just kind of like your normal, everyday experience of life. And so to start us out with tonight, I want us to have a little table discussion. It's been a while since we've done this. So at your table, okay, I want you to answer this question. How do you know if something is right or wrong? Whether or not an action is good or it's evil. How do you know that, okay? So at your table, a couple of minutes, discuss that. How do you know if something's right or wrong?
I'd say like there cannot be one, and then I'd say after here,
All right. Just real quickly, somebody from this table, give me one thought of how you know something's right or wrong. What did you say? One thought.
Like depending on like how you're raised.
Okay. So how you're raised, so like traditional values from family. Okay, awesome. What's something y'all guys said?
so like based on consequence, whether or not a person benefits or does not benefit.
Okay, so of how it benefits you or doesn't benefit you determines whether something's right or wrong. Okay, what about you guys? Something. Okay, so conscience, so something like inside of you tells you if something's right or wrong. Okay, awesome. All right, how about this one? Okay, how about this one? I want you to discuss it just at your table. Which one do you think is more accurate or is more true of our society? A, an action is morally good or bad for everyone, anyone of all time, or is an action morally good or bad dependent upon the circumstances? Which one of those do you think is more true? Discuss that at your table.
I'd say yeah. Because, I mean, you say, but there's, okay, but morally good and morally bad are both the same thing. If you're killing somebody, yeah, but I'm saying it's for everybody. If it's all the time, okay, so I'd say murder is bad all the time. But that's why I have self-defense would be good. You have, okay, so I'd say the things that are bad all the time. Things that are good are good all the time. And what those things are dependent on the circumstances. But I think morally bad are.
That's good. All right. We'll start over here at this table this time. One person's thought. Y'all think B? Okay.
Yeah.
Over here. We're gonna go with what?
Mixture of both.
So we have both A and B. Both. Think it's B? Okay. So there is a situation of an idea of universal right or wrong. Okay.
All right. Menu item. I like it.
Awesome. So here's the thing. I wanted y'all to see just then. Okay. This concept of this idea of right and wrong, what is good and what is evil, we have different opinions about it, right? Even where that sense of idea of right and wrong even comes from, we have a difference of opinion on it. And we have a difference of the idea of whether or not it's universal or it's more circumstantial. And yet we all in this room have somewhat of a sense of a faith-based type of worldview, and yet even we have a difference of opinion on what right and wrong is about. Okay, so to help us with this tonight, I need a volunteer from this table right here. Okay, Ella. All right, come on up. Ella. Come on up. Everybody doesn't know Ella. This is Ella right here. Okay.
Hi, I know Nella.
And Matthew, come on up. Come.
I don't mind.
Okay, Matthew, I would say, I'm going to ask, do you think it is good, I'm not going to assume.
Absolutely, yes.
Do you think it's good to respect your elders? Do you think that's a good thing?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Do you think it's a good thing that we should obey the people in authority, generally speaking?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, great. Okay, Ella, come stand right here for me. Thanks, Matthew, come stand right here for me. Awesome. I want you to slap her across the face as hard as you can.
Okay.
No, really, I want you to slap her across the face. Why not?
Dude, that's
Okay, but you just told me you thought it's good to respect your authority and to be obedient to the authority and respect your elders. I'm telling you to slap across the face as hard as you can.
Just do it, Robbie. Just do it. I was like, yeah, do it.
I want to see a mark on her face.
Because he really is fighting. I stopped him.
Why are you struggling? Why?
Because it's morally wrong.
Because you think it's wrong.
Yes.
Right? Even though I'm telling you to do it, you still think it's wrong.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a seat. Did y'all see that?
Hey, Matthew, pass the towel.
There are some things that we believe are fundamentally wrong, right? Correct? We believe there are some things that are fundamentally wrong, and I would argue even if it violates or goes against other things that we generally think is right, there are some things that we know inside of us, it's just wrong. You guys said earlier, how do you know between right and wrong? Y'all said conscience. There is something inside of you that just intrinsically tells you sometimes something is wrong, right? For example, I think we would all be in agreement that torturing a little baby just for fun is wrong. Like, that is evil, right? That is horrible. I don't think anyone would say, oh yeah, that's cool, no problem. Like, I don't even think anyone, would have that mindset. There are some things that we know intrinsically that are wrong, period. And it doesn't matter if you're alive today or alive 10 years from now, or you were alive 200 years ago, torturing a baby is still wrong. It doesn't matter if you live here in Burleson, or if you live in Indonesia, or in South America, or you're an Eskimo. Like, it doesn't matter about culture. It doesn't matter about time. It doesn't matter about place. There are some things that are fundamentally just wrong. Okay? So here's the idea to think about. If there are things that are fundamentally wrong, then there also has to be some things that are fundamentally right or good for all people. Like I gave you the one, torturing a baby. I think we all would agree is wrong. Pretty much every culture that has ever existed believes that just cold-blooded murder of an innocent person is wrong, right? There are certain things we think is wrong. There's also things that we think is good, right? Like, we generally think courage is a good thing, right? Everyone pretty much believes that generosity is a good thing. Those are morally good things. We honor people who are generous. We honor people who are brave, right? It's like we put up statues to people who show bravery and even give up their lives, fighting for a cause, right? We don't have statues of people who are cowards and run away and be like, I pretended like my tummy was sick, so I didn't fight. Like, we don't have statues to people like that, right? That's not something we value or uphold, right? So I think there are such things as universal truths about good and evil that is true for all people, all time, all places. And if that is the case, then what establishes what is good and evil? And if it's for all people, all time, of all places, that means the standard has to be somewhat above or beyond all people, time, and place. Now think about that. There has to be some standard that establishes what is right and wrong, what is good and evil, that's beyond people, time, place, or culture. What does that sound like? Something that establishes good and evil that is above person, place, time, and culture. God, right? Kind of sounds like God. So just the very fact that we have a sense of morality, of right and wrong, that there are universal things that everyone believes is morally true and that isn't, points to a lawgiver, a standard of what right and wrong is. And I would argue it only makes sense if that standard is God. So the formal argument for this, it's called the morality argument. It's this: if God doesn't exist, then objective universal morality doesn't exist. But objective morality does exist. So therefore, God does exist. Okay? Now, there are people who will challenge this, like with anything, but I would say out of everything we talked about so far, this right here is probably going to be the one that you're going to face the most challenge and opposition with, probably more than anything else, about this idea of objective morality. Is there such a thing as objective universal morality? You're going to experience more challenge, more debate than anything else. And basically, the argument goes like this. Okay, if you want to believe something is right or wrong, that's awesome. You can believe that. And that's cool. I'm going to respect that. But you need to respect me to allow me to choose what's right and wrong for myself. Okay? So you can't force your belief on me, and I won't force my belief on you, and we'll be cool about it. That is a very common concept in our world today. And basically what that is, it's called moral relativism. That morality is relative or subjective to every individual. That each person kind of determines what is right or wrong for them. And you can't force your morals on me, and I can't force my morals on you. Okay? That is very, very popular in our world today. You'll hear it called tolerance, but that's what it is. Okay? Now I want to explain to you why moral relativism completely crumbles when you really, really think about it. Because again, understanding what it is, I'm going to choose what I think is right, and I'm going to be true to that. And so if I violate what I think is right or wrong, then it is right or wrong for me. And if you think something is right or wrong, then that's true for you, okay? But don't force what you think is right or wrong on me. So let me give you an example. Smoking pot, okay? Smoking marijuana, okay? You might personally think that is wrong. Somebody else might go, hey, Colorado's made it legal, California's made it legal, so it's okay. It's really not that big of a deal. So if you think it's wrong, fine, that's cool. You don't smoke it, but don't tell me if I smoke it, it's wrong. Because some states say it's legal, so I think it's cool, all right? That's an example of someone saying, what you believe is cool, but you believe that for you. What I believe is cool, and I'm going to believe that for me, and I'm not going to force my belief on you, and you can't force your belief on me. Does that make sense? That's kind of the concept of moral relativism, okay? Again, hugely, hugely popular in our world today. This is why I think it fails and completely crashes, okay? Okay, that's from a Christian objective, totally with you. Before we even get to there, let's just take this kind of thought to its logical conclusion. If I decide for myself what I think is right or wrong, you have no authority, no ability to ever tell me what I'm doing is right or wrong. Okay? Just like I can't tell you what you're doing is right or wrong. So if I think something's good, then it's okay for me to do it. It's good. Therefore, you cannot say Hitler's Holocaust is a bad thing because he thought it was good. He said, this is good for my people to eliminate the Jews. You can't say that's bad because moral relativism says the individual chooses what they think is right or wrong. And as long as they think it's okay, then it's okay.
Well, that's like saying someone can go speeding, they get pulled over, and the cop says you were speeding, but I thought it was right, so then you just drive on.
Exactly right. So if you keep on thinking that way, there is no standard at all of what is right or wrong. The notion of something being right or wrong actually completely crumbles. And there's nothing that is wrong. Everything is acceptable because all you have to do is go, hey, it's cool for me, so you can do whatever you want. I really like those shoes. I'm going to take them. You don't want to give them to me? Bam, killed you. They're mine. You can't tell me it's wrong. I wanted them. Like there is no standard anymore of what right or wrong is. You can never say something is unfair. Your teacher gives you an F even though you did everything right. You can't complain and go, it's unfair because you are saying there is a standard that we all have to uphold to. But this moral relativism says there is no standard. Everyone chooses for themselves. Do you see how that completely crumbles And there's no standard and there is no morality, really, if you hold to this idea of moral relativism. It completely crumbles under itself. It is not sustainable. And I would say this, even though people may tell you they believe this, they really don't when it comes to someone acting that way towards them. They're going to say things like, that's unfair. Wait, you can't steal my money. Well, yeah, I can. I need it. So therefore, it's a good thing because I need it more than you do. No, I'm telling you, no one actually lives this way, even though they may say they believe it. Okay? So I would say the opposite of that is true. That there are things that we all really do believe is good, is right, and there are things that we all universally think are wrong or evil. Now, how we go about that can be different, okay? There could be some cultural things that the means that we understand how things are right or wrong might be different, but there are certain standards. For example, I was told this once when I was having this conversation about, okay, well, in India, they don't eat cows, right? Because they believe in reincarnation and that you may be eating like a family member or something, right? But here in America, we eat cows, like everybody likes their burgers and steaks, right? So they would say it's wrong, we say it's right. There's a difference. That's a moral thing that's different. I would argue this. The moral standard is the reason why they don't eat cows. They think it's wrong to eat grandma. I think we agree with that. It's wrong to eat grandma. So the moral standard is the same, just how we get there is a little bit different. We don't think a cow has grandma's soul in it, right? So even there are things that we may at first kind of look at and go, oh, that's a cultural thing. That's an example of where morals are different. I would actually argue that fundamentally at their core, there are things that are actually the same. It's just differences in the way we approach it and get there, okay? Here's another example of a different kind of argument that goes along with this. Give me an example of a hope or a dream that you have for your life, a goal. It doesn't matter what it is, big, small.
Healthy marriage.
Okay, awesome, good. Healthy marriage. Somebody else. Okay, you want to be a youth pastor. Awesome. A goal. Be a lawyer. Awesome. Graduate high school. Love it. Be a famous actress. Fantastic. Want to be a vet? Awesome. Okay.
Am I right?
Hey, notice that no one just said, when you talk about your future dreams or goals, dude, I want to be a junkie. Like, I want to be like living on the streets, man, like hooked on drugs. Nobody said that.
No.
Nobody said, oh, I want to be in prison for the rest of my life. That would be great. That's what I wanted. Why not? Why do we even have dreams or hopes or goals? Why? I mean, prison, your food's taken care of and your shelter's taken care of. That's a basic necessity of life. Why wouldn't you want that? Why not?
It's boring.
What?
I could have better food.
Because you could have better food.
Because it's
Do
boring.
you think I said something profound?
Yeah, I was hoping.
I'm sorry. Let me think of something.
Next time, Jim.
Why do you have dreams at all? That's the question. Why is it good? Awesome. Say that again.
So that you do something with your life.
I think that
Just think about one gray hair in my head.
I think that is true
Just one.
for all of us, right? Why do we have goals and dreams and want something out of life? It's because we feel like there is some kind of purpose or significance that we contribute to life, right? That's why we go, dude, that is so awesome that you are a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer. And we don't go, that is so awesome, you're a criminal. And going, we don't say that, right? Because we value and we think, man, lives that contribute, that have meaning, that have significance are important. And someone who does spend their entire life in jail probably looks back on their life and going, man, I missed out on opportunities. I think I could have done more. Why do we have that sense that life has meaning and purpose? Because it's supposed to have meaning and purpose. Totally agree. So if you take God out of the picture, I would argue life doesn't have meaning or purpose, because if God is not in the picture, how did we get here? We got here because of a great cosmic accident happened, right? Atoms exploded, and all of the universe and life is now here, okay? So it wasn't by purpose or design. It was because of accident. And we went from goo through the zoo to you, and now you're here. And so it was all because of biological, chemical reactions to get you to this point. Again, it was all just because everything you do is simply a chemical reaction to stimuli. If that is true, that God isn't a part of it at all, and that is how we are, the reality is the entire universe is a cosmic accident. You are here by random chance. So am I. So it really doesn't matter what you do because it's all just random happen chance anyway. It would be as if you live your life like it's Monopoly, and you're just trying to get the most money and property you can, but at the end of your life, you die. You throw it all back in the box. It doesn't even matter. See, if you take God out of the picture, life has no real meaning at all. And so I would argue the whole concept of morality, the whole concept of a meaning and purpose to life screams for the existence of God. Because if you don't have God, morality and purpose in life doesn't matter. You shouldn't even have it at all, but we do. Fundamentally, we all within our core believe in morality, and we all believe in purpose and meaning. And you can only have that if God is real and God exists. Ecclesiastes says this. Chapter 1, verse 2 says, meaningless, says the teacher, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. And then down in 14, he says this, I have seen all the things that are done under the sun. All of them are meaningless, like chasing after the wind. The writer of Ecclesiastes looks at all these different things that life has to offer. And he says, if you don't have God, it's all meaningless. Wealth, power, fame, pleasures, it's all meaningless if you don't have God. So I would argue with you that you do have meaning, and you do have purpose, and you do have significance, and you do have a conscience within you because you are created in the image of a real God that has placed that worth and value and conscience within you. And the very fact that those things exist in our world are evidence that there is a real loving God that establishes right and wrong and has established that for all of creation. So I think you can have extreme confidence that God is who he says he is, and he's going to do everything that he's promised to do. Let's pray. God, I do thank you that you have created us as rational beings with a mind that can analyze things and evaluate things and ponder things and think about things because we're created in your image. And you have designed a rational world that we can evaluate and see the evidence of you in it all around. As Romans reminds us that creation speaks of your glory, that your divine nature is present and able for us to see if we look. So God, again, it's my hope for us as we're going through this and we talk about this stuff, and I know it's pretty, heady stuff and really makes you think and ponder, but that's good. Because you tell us to love you with all of our heart, soul, and our mind. So it's a part of loving you. It's engaging our mind, thinking about these things. And having the confidence to know, man, what I believe is true. And it is logical and it is reasonable to believe in the God of the Bible. So God, I pray that these students understand that they have that deep conviction within them to walk in confidence in their faith. And Lord, they're not one of those statistics that we hear all the time as people go to college, that they're combated with new thoughts and ideas, that they sometimes walk away. Not for these students, Lord, that's my prayer, that they are grounded securely in what they believe. And they do have confidence in them. So God, Lord, we offer this time up to you. As we close, God, we just pray that you would instill with us to be able to live our lives in confidence and boldness every single day. In Jesus' name.
Yes.